Hi guys, Brian here. Welcome to another commentary video. Yep, that title says what it says. And man, if you had told me 6 months ago that I'd be sitting here making this video, past Brian would not have believed you. Past Brian would have been up in arms and yelling. But yeah, I feel like Dead Hard might be one of my new favorite perks to play on Survivor. Isn't that a weird change? Let's go ahead and talk about why. So obviously, just a little recap. Dead Hard used to be my least favorite perk in the game. I have made video upon video upon video upon video on how much I hate this perk and how much it literally was the bane of mine and many killer main's existence for ever since it's been a thing. And that's because Dead Hard used to have distance and invincibility. So right now, in Dead Hard's current form, it has no distance and it grants endurance if you can bait out the hit, and the endurance effect is only active for 0.5 seconds. Dead Hard used to be a full dash, which gained distance, and you were invincible for a longer period of time. So essentially, it was a free win in a chase, or a mistake undo, as it often was. Even if you won a mind game, they could often just Dead Hard away and extend the chase by 10 plus seconds. Usually it would end up like 15, 20. It would be a lot longer. Essentially, it was just free pressure. And while that happens once, it's not the biggest deal in the world. When you have 2 or 3 people on a team bringing it, it's like it can literally buy a whole gen's worth of time by artificially extending chases without even actually doing anything skillful or good in the first place. But now Dead Hard has had its distance removed, so you're not reaching resources that you already wouldn't have reached anyway. And now it's just endurance. So it's not like you just whiff straight through them and that's it. You actually still hit them, and they have to at least mend after that happens, and you're probably going to catch up to them after that anyway. So how did this perk become my favorite perk in the game, despite being literally my least favorite before the mid chapter? I think the big thing now is both on Killer and Survivor, this thing takes skill to perform. And it's because you only have 0.5 seconds to perform it. It's actually really hype and really clutch when it happens. When I get dead-hearted and I'm playing Killer, and I actually fall for it and I don't wait it out and I hit him, I go, oh cool. Oh crap. I didn't wait that out. That's on me. That's totally me. That's 100% on me. I didn't wait it out. I didn't think you had it. So I have to take that out. I have to seek that out because I was impatient. I didn't think you had it. And now you have a speed burst. You have a speed burst because you always get a speed burst whenever you get hit. So now you get a speed burst, and now you're zooming off into the distance, you're chaining more tiles, and there's nobody to blame but myself. Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. And on the flip side, on the Survivor side of things, it's super duper exciting because, like I said, because you only have that 0.5 seconds, you only have that 0.5 second dash, that it's really, really hard to pull that off. It's really, really hard to pull that off. There's so many times that even I feel like just like the servers say no. You guys know, you're out there, you're playing. A Huntress hitbox becomes it's usually a beach ball, but the size of a blimp if you're even slightly laggy. Conversely, if you're playing Huntress and you have good ping and you're throwing hatchets at somebody who has high ping, they're like zipping around and it's super hard. Ping can ruin a lot of things in this game. So only having 0.5 seconds to work with, sometimes ping can just eat your Dead Hard. It happens all the time. I'll try to go for it, and I'm not even exhausted on the floor. I just hit the button and then I just end up on the ground. But I'll tell you what, when you get those Dead Hard hits, when you actually successfully bait the killer to hit your Dead Hard, it is one of the best feelings in the world. It is like, oh my god, it feels as good as hitting a cross map, feels good as hitting a good curve, and it finally and I think that's what dawned upon me. It's like the main reason I didn't enjoy Survivor that much is because there's not really a whole lot in the way of super duper skilled plays to do. Like, did you greed the pallet? That's a good play. Can you window tech a killer every once in a while? That's a good play. But for the most part, a lot of it's just sit on a gen, don't throw the pallet the first loop or two around. A lot of it is very simple, and that's a good thing because it's the most played role in the game. So you kind of want the more general role in the game to be easier. That way it's more accessible for more people. But as a result, I find it in general to be more lame and boring, which is why I've kind of preferred Killer my entire DBD career. But I feel like Dead Hard really introduces this really, really clutch skill play that I enjoy so much about playing Killer. because it's not free pressure. Matter of fact, it's really, really hard pressure to get, but once you do get it, it's really nice because you get the speed burst, and then I can chain tiles now. Even with old Dead Hard, you could, like, even if you baited a swing and you got to a pallet or you got to a window, you were still likely in the same loop that you were before. Like, you're not chaining multiple tiles and saving resources. Now, if you can bait that hit, you can leave that tile, leave the pallet up, and go to a different tile and start looping there. That way, that resource that you just left is saved for somebody else later in the game, and that's solely because you played well using your Dead Hard. It's a reward for not even just you, but your whole team, by being able to hit that super, super thin, narrow of a length of time that you actually have the endurance. Now, of course, you have so many situations that it kind of gets deflated. Like I said, latency was one of them. The latency kind of like will screw you a lot. Also, if you don't know this, endurance does not go off when you have deep wounds anymore. So there are obviously specific killers that apply deep wounds very easily, like Legion and Deathslinger. And in that regard, you essentially can't use Dead Hard against them. And especially with Legion kind of being kind of like the Fisher Price's first killer, the lazy killer to go to right now. You're seeing tons and tons of Legions that didn't exist before. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of trouble running Dead Hard. I feel like I get a Legion like I wouldn't say every other match, but it's like 1 out of 3 matches I get a Legion. So there's going to be a lot of situations where you're not going to be able to use it, which is unfortunate. Also, obviously, with Deathslingers, which I've also seen a lot more of since the mid-chapter update, you're going to not be in situations where you can use that as much. That is a huge downside to it. That is kind of suckeroni. I don't think that'll ever get fixed either. I don't think they're ever going to eventually move that to like a mom situation. Metal and Man currently activates endurance, but doesn't give deep wounds. I don't think they're ever going to end up in a situation like that where it kind of gives a mom effect instead of the other, because Dead Hard has had its time at the top of the mountain, and it had its time at the top of the mountain for such a long time that people are sick of seeing it. People are sick, even in its weak and skillful form. I doubt anybody would want to see that. I doubt anybody would want to like have Dead Hard buffed in any way again, even if it's in a fair way. So that's just something I feel like we're just gonna have to deal with, which is totally fine. Like we take those. We don't live in the era of Dead Hard terror anymore. And the perk is mostly balanced. So we can live without it. We can live with some characters just kind of like hard countering the perk. There's plenty of perks that just get hard countered by specific killers. You look at like all of the healing perks versus like Plague. Like I bring Boon Circle of Healing a lot of my matches now to undo the Thana fad that's going on right now. I get Plagues a lot, and I'm just like, well, that does nothing. And it's not something that needs to be changed or anything. It's just kind of like the way the game is, you know. And the crazy part about all this to me was people were saying that like Dead Hard was just outright dead. Like Dead Hard just there was that meme going around where it was just a photoshopped edit of the description of the perk that just said dead. It just said dead. You just press it, you just flop on the ground. And I found that really funny. But like outside of that meme, a lot of people did unironically say that like the perk just didn't exist anymore. The perk just isn't worth running. The perk's just garbage. Like people were really lamenting the changes to Dead Hard and just outright saying it was just trash F tier perk. And I'm here to tell you that I'm extraordinarily happy to sit here and tell you that is the furthest from the case that it possibly could be. Furthest from the case that it possibly could be. This perk, I'm going to tell you what, we were just talking about that situation with the endurance to chain tiles. If you can hit that, that's better than old Dead Hard. I'll tell you what, that's better than old Dead Hard. Because you couldn't, like I was saying, you couldn't chain tiles as well with old Dead Hard unless you had a resource available to you. Now, if you can bait the Dead Hard and hit it, you have that speed burst, so you can make another tile easy peasy lemon squeezy. So if you can get it to have it be hit, in a lot of ways it's better than old Dead Hard, but you don't have the frustration that goes with it because it's a skill-based play now. So you can't get mad because they did it because they were skillful, because they were good at the game, because they did something that was cool to do. Like this isn't just press the E key and win the game for free. Like this actually took skill, so that actually makes it good now. But yeah, I know it's weird, but Dead Hard is actually probably my favorite perk for Survivor right now. How do you feel about that, coming from me, who's made probably like 5+ videos about how bad Dead Hard used to be? Isn't that weird? Have you been out in the wild, you've been facing Dead Hard, and you're like, oh, nice play? Or have you been like, no, Dead Hard's still dumb, and we still hate it, and how dare you even say that? Let me know down in the comments below. But that's gonna be it for today's video, friends. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much for spending time with me, but I do upload daily, so hopefully I will see you tomorrow. But if I don't, I will see you when I see you, friend. Goodbye.